वॉइस वस्तुंदा वॉइस वस्तुंदा चलिए ग्रेट गुड मॉर्निंग तो आई थिंक phase 1 and 2 are over. Today is preparation day. So whichever the mistakes you have committed in the phase 1 phase 2 examination, today you will rectify that, correct? Some of you might have realized that bio you are forgetting. Some of you might have realized that there are some formulas you forgot to revise before entering for physics and chemistry examination. Certain things which you have never read before but are very easy and you can easily read within 5-10 minutes, but you have skipped that before the examination. All that has to be compiled for the phase 1 and phase 2 and revised today. So make sure that you define your time properly by around 10:30 or 11, whatever the time you are starting the study, self-study time. Till the night 11:30, you have roughly 12 hours. If you remove 2-3 hours from the middle, around 10 hours you will get. Proper studies of 10 hours you can easily get. So don't be a miser now. Don't waste your time here and there. Don't be miser in giving the time to the academics. This is the only time left in your entire life, entire career to make your career. So make sure that now you cannot be lazy. Now you cannot be sleepy. Understood, bhaiya? Now, friend, family does not matter. Only one thing matters. There is selection. Clear, bhai? Hello? Hello? Because many of your examinations might not have gone as good as you thought it would go. So welcome to the reality. This is how it is. Now you have to compensate this. If you are feeling bad, feel bad. If you feel like crying, cry. But at the end of the day, make sure that you work to make your marks better. Emotions are not going to give you marks in the NEET examination. Emotions will come naturally, let it come. After it is over, be logical, start working upon the subject. If your subject will improve, your marks will automatically improve. If you keep on crying about marks and don't read the subject, if you keep on thinking about 100 different ways of reading now, you will not find any way. There is just one single way. Open your book, open your notebook and just start studies. There is no other way. There is no shortcut. If there was any shortcut, we would have told you by this time. We will not wait for the last 10 days to tell you this. So now open NCERT, open notebook, depending upon which subject you are weaker at, according to the phase 1 and phase 2, and prepare that today so that phase 3 can go better than phase 1 and phase 2. Graph should go up. If not exponentially up, linearly up, but it should go up. So today, the topic that we are going to do is the second lecture of S class, inorganic and general chemistry. Then, bhai sahab, let's start. So we are starting with the metallurgy first. So when you start with the metallurgy, the first thing that you have to very properly remember are the ores. So here, when you remember the ores here, let's do one by one how you have to remember. So the objective is very simple. I'm not only teaching you, I'm also trying to make you remember certain things which will come in the examination. So try to repeat with me in the class, don't hesitate. Now, which are the carbonate ores? Siderite. Siderite FeCO3 is the carbonate ore. Malachite. Malachite is basic copper carbonate. CuCO3.CuOH whole twice. Calamine, zinc carbonate. So calamine, malachite, see how similar names are there. Calamine, malachite. Just like opposite of each other. Calamine, malachite. Both are carbonate, and siderite. Calamine, malachite, siderite, these are the carbonate ore. Then hematite, magnetite, cuprite, zincite, these are oxide ore. Zincite, cuprite, hematite and magnetite, these are oxide ores. Sulfide are majorly either pyrites or some normal name will be there. Remaining all are ite, na? Cuprite, malachite, ite. But sulfide ores are either pyrite. Pyrite means FeS2. FeS2 iron pyrite, CuFeS2 copper pyrite. So pyrites are FeS2. So pyrite will be there, or glans like copper glans, galena, PBS. They are not ite. Only sulfide ores which are written as ite are pyrites, and pyrites are FeS2. So once revised properly are what the formulas you have got: siderite, calamine, malachite. They both are, all three are carbonates here. Then oxides are hematite, magnetite, zincite, cuprite. These are oxides. Copper glance, galena, pyrites, iron as well as copper pyrites. These are sulfides. Apart from that, one more person is there who is silicate as well as hydroxide. Silicate, oxide, hydroxide, in all three category it will come. Silicate, oxide, hydroxide, in all three category you can put it. Aluminium ores. Aluminium ore, when you say bauxite, bauxite will come as oxide as well as hydroxide. Oxide as well as hydroxide. The formula is AlOx, OX, OH 3 minus 2X. It's a complicated formula that you need to remember. Then we have kaolinite. Kaolinite. So kaolinite is a silicate, hydroxide and silicate. Clear, bhai sahab? So if someone asks you which of the following ore is a silicate, silicate. So remember, a form of clay is there, kaolinite, that is going to be a silicate. So these ores you have to properly remember, bhai sahab. Zn as zinc blende. Splerite also we call it. Zinc blende is splerite because zinc blende is very common in solid state chapter also. You might have remembered it. Going ahead, these ores sit in the evening and properly read. Then you have Ellingham diagram. In the Ellingham diagram, idea is very simple. Lower line metal is the most reactive. Upper line metal are less reactive. That is why for this bhai sahab we do self reduction. For copper we do self reduction. For zinc, iron, middle people we do smelting using carbon. That is carbon reduction we do. For zinc and iron and all. For these people, that is SUL. For SUL, S block and N William SUL. For these people, SUL, we do electrolytic reduction. So, bhaiya, most reactive people cannot be reduced by any reducing agent. We use electricity. Moderately reactive people, carbon can do the job. And least reactive people, you don't need any reducing agent. They will get reduced themselves only. Because they are anyway least reactive, they'll be happily becoming their metal again. So bhaiya, here in this case in Ellingham diagram, remember that lower the line, more reactivity, that is more affinity for oxygen. So one question came in our last test, at what temperature the affinity of zinc and carbon towards oxygen is same. That means zinc line here, this zinc line and this carbon line, at what point their affinities are equal, at what point they both are having same reactivity. So right now zinc is lower line, so reactivity of zinc is more. Afterwards carbon line is lower line, so carbon reactivity more. So when they intersect each other, at this point you have equal affinity for oxygen. You have equal stability of the oxide, oxide stability equal. Delta G naught will be 0 and K will be 1. Equilibrium constant will be 1 and delta G naught is 0. Delta Z 0 nahi hai. I'm not saying delta G 0. Delta G 0 for equilibrium for every reaction. Delta G is 0 at equilibrium for every reaction. I am saying delta G naught is 0 for this thing. Delta G naught is 0 here. Delta G naught, standard Gibbs free energy change is 0. And delta G naught is equals to minus 2.303 RT log K. So when delta G naught 0, so log K is 0. Log K 0 means K equal to 1. So keep in mind at this point affinity for oxygen equal, stability for the oxides are equal, delta G naught is 0. That means K equal to 1. That means product K is P by R. That means P equal to R. Product by reactant power is stoichiometry now. So P equal to R. Product equal to reactant because they are equally stable. So the amount of product and the reactant will be equal by the end of reaction. That is what the meaning of K equal to 1 is. So this point is a very important point. Similarly, at this point A, Magnesium cannot reduce alumina, aluminum cannot reduce MgO. They both are equally stable at point A. Now, talking about the general question of Ellingham diagram, lower line metal, they are more reactive, and we know that more reactive can displace less reactive. More reactive can displace less reactive from their compounds. So lower line metal, more reactive metal, lower line metal will displace upper line oxide. And not only metal, lower line element. Lower line element can displace upper line oxide from the compound. For example, at this point A, around 1400 degrees Celsius, I can see temperature. So before 1400, magnesium is the lower line. So lower line to metal, upper line by oxide, you will get MgO plus Al. That means Mg will take oxygen. Because lower line means more reaction. Lower line means he will be more reactive, he will kick out aluminium. See, he kicked out aluminium. Below 1400. After 1400, you can see this aluminium line is lower line. After 1400, this aluminium line is becoming the lower line. So lower line metal will kick out upper line metal from their oxide. So see, aluminium can kick out magnesium. So a question comes in NCERT in text. Is it possible for aluminium to displace magnesium from its oxide and magnesium to displace aluminium from its oxide at some conditions? Yes. Above 1400, aluminium can displace magnesium. Below 1400, magnesium can displace aluminium. Clear, bhai? Only one graph is there whose slope is 0. That is carbon plus O2 gives you CO2. Here the slope comes 0. If someone asks you what's the slope of Ellingham diagram, slope of Ellingham diagram is minus times of delta S. Minus delta S. Minus delta S is the slope of this graph. So when you see this equation, carbon is a solid, O2 is a gas, CO2 is a gas. I'll maximize it for you. Carbon is a solid, O2 is a gas, CO2 is a gas. So when you find delta S, change in entropy, so solid to negligible entropy. And one gas becoming one gas. One gas becoming one gas. So almost negligible change came in the entropy. Almost same because one gas became one gas. So delta S almost 0. And slope which is minus delta S will automatically come out to be 0. That's why carbon giving you carbon dioxide is a straight line. Similarly, carbon again solid, remove, O2 gas, CO gas. So bhai, one gas becoming two gas. When one gas become two gas, entropy increase. Delta S comes positive, entropy increase. One gas becoming two gas. So more randomness, more entropy, delta S positive. So slope which is minus times of delta S will be negative. That is why this line is running down. Understood the idea? Only two lines are there who don't run up. Carbon to CO2 and carbon to CO. I think Ellingham diagram funda clear, bhai. Can I move on? Can I move on? Look, it's revision here. So hopefully you treat it like revision only and it's actual revision. Furthermore, no further revision, bhai, this last revision. So here, one more thing, they will ask you in NCERT, ki bhaiya, metal oxide solid became metal solid and metal oxide solid became metal liquid. Out of these two, out of equation number 1 and equation number 2, which is more feasible, more spontaneous? Which one is more spontaneous? Which one is more feasible? 1 or 2? Correct, bhai. Equation number 2 will be more feasible. Why? Because solid to solid entropy change very less, but solid to liquid entropy increase. Mathematically speaking, delta G is delta H minus T delta S. So when the entropy becomes positive or increases becomes positive, so minus T delta S becomes negative. And more positive, so this delta G will become more and more negative. And delta G more negative means more spontaneous. solid to liquid entropy increase, so delta S become positive. So more positive delta S, more negative delta G, because there is a minus sign here. So these are the NCERT solved example regarding Ellingham diagram. Going ahead, then we have iron metallurgy. In iron metallurgy, there are three major temperature ranges. One is low temperature, one is high. One is low temperature, high temperature, very high temperature. Low, high, very high. So what happens at low temperature? Low temperature range is 500 to 800 Kelvin. This is low temperature range. So we are from 500 Kelvin to 2200 Kelvin, we have blast furnace temperature range, lowest to highest. This area is low temperature. And from here, this area will be high temperature. And the bottom area will be highest temperature that we are not considering. So low and high temperature, how to remember the reaction? By one shortcut I told you. Ki remember at low temperature, FeO does not become Fe according to NCERT. FeO does not become Fe at low temperature. This reaction of FeO becoming Fe happens only at higher temperature. Hanji, so FeO becomes Fe at low temperature or high temperature? FeO become Fe at low temperature or high temperature? High temperature, higher. How much is that higher temperature? How much is the range of that temperature? How much is the range of that temperature? Range 900 to 1500 Kelvin, correct. Then if I ask you, can Fe2O3 become Fe3O4 at low temperature? Answer is yes. Sir, how do you know? You have to think in this manner. I don't know. I mugged up this. This does not happen. So any other reduction you will give me, it will happen. Kya Fe3O4 will become Fe? Yes, sir. Kya Fe2O3 can become Fe? Yes, sir. No problem. Only FeO will not become Fe, sir. Remaining, I will say yes for everything. Veliginda. Chaliye, great. Going ahead. So at this high temperature range, carbon becomes CO. Now listen very, very carefully. Which reducing agent you are adding is coke. The reducing agent you are adding, that is coke. The reducing agent you are adding is coke. But when you see the reactions, the actual reducing agent you are using is carbon monoxide. When you see the reaction, the actual reducing agent you are using is carbon monoxide. Firstly, why? Coke is a solid. Solid cannot go everywhere. Solid will react only on the surface. So carbon solid react with CO2 gas to become carbon monoxide gas. Carbon monoxide is also a good reducing agent. Good reducing agent. For lower temperature, तो very good. CO as a reducing agent. Plus advantage, CO is a gas. This gas can go everywhere and can do the home delivery of reduction. So this CO gas will go inside the ore and will do the home delivery of reduction. So who is the main reducing agent in the blast furnace? CO. The main reducing agent will be CO. But which reducing agent have you added? Coke. Which reducing agent added? Coke. Coke makes CO and then CO act like a reducing agent. This clarity there? But when the temperature crosses a certain value of around 1500 Kelvin, after that, to be precise 1073, but around 1500 Kelvin, roughly around that temperature, carbon monoxide joins the hand and say ki carbon monoxide says ki I cannot reduce iron now. After 1500 Kelvin, I cannot reduce iron oxide to become iron. So CO says, bro, I cannot help you now. Then the coke comes into play. So the only reaction where carbon acts like a reducing agent is at a very high temperature where CO cannot reduce FeO. CO can reduce FeO in this range, but CO cannot reduce FeO above 1500 according to the NCERT values. Understood the idea, bhai? So there who is going to come into play? The actual reducing agent that you added, that is carbon, coke. Next, slag formation will happen. Slag means removing your garbage as some liquid there. So the garbage is called gangue. The gangue in this process is silica. Silica is the gangue. To remove gangue, we are using calcium carbonate. Now, calcium carbonate is limestone. On heating limestone, calcium oxide. So, calcium oxide plus silica will give you CaSiO3, which is slag. Now, density of slag is more or molten iron is more. So, sir, metal are denser. Metals are generally denser. So, molten iron will have more density. It will settle down separated. And molten slag has higher density. It will settle up and separated. The iron coming from here is pig iron. Pig iron contains 4% carbon. And 4% carbon, how you will remember? Pig iron. SP sir mange 4%. Who is asking for 4%? I am asking. SP sir mange 4% carbon. SP sir is asking 4% carbon. SP sir mange 4% carbon. This is pig iron. Pig iron can be casted into object. Beauty, देखो, listen carefully. अरे listen carefully. Pig iron can be casted into object. Cast iron cannot be casted into object. Pig iron can be casted into object. Pig iron can be casted into object. Cast iron cannot be casted into object. The name is a very confusing name. So cast iron cannot be casted into object. Pig iron can be casted into object. Now, cast iron different from pig iron. Now, here we are heating with the iron scrap, coke, hot air blast, dhankana. Finally, what you got? 3% carbon you got. 3%. Pig iron 4%, cast iron 3%. Cast iron is very hard and brittle. For those manhole, there we use the cast iron. Getting gutter, is there a gutter? In that gutter lid, there we are using the cast iron. Extremely hard, and if you apply too much pressure, it can break. It cannot mold. It cannot mold into some shape. It cannot be malleable or ductile like other remaining form of iron like wrought iron. It is brittle. It can break by very hard. It's very hard also. Huh? It is extremely hard also. It will not break easily. But if you apply force, it will not bend. It will break. Further reductions. Wrought iron is the commercially the purest form of commercial iron is the wrought iron. Wrought iron, how to make? Problem is 3% carbon. Na? What's the problem here? For making wrought iron, for making pure iron, only problem is this 3% carbon and SP sir mange. SP sir mange and some carbon which is left over is the problem. So firstly, to remove carbon, I will add hematite. When I add hematite, hematite react with the leftover carbon to give you iron. So carbon also gone. More iron also came. One advantage. Second, SP sir, sulfur, phosphorus, silicon, all three are non-metal. SP sir, all three are non-metal. Manganese, we cannot do anything. Some impurity will be left here. Whatever you prepare, howsoever good you prepare, something will be always left by the end of preparation. So never get frustrated. Because here, after this much of advancement in science, people are not able to remove manganese from here. What are you expecting that you will get perfection in everything? Not possible. Na yaar. So be practical. Something will be left. But firstly, main thing should be covered. So main thing is sulfur, phosphorus, silicon. Manganese is a little bit impurity. We can remove it later if required. So SP sir have to be removed. Means not me, this one. Sulfur, phosphorus, silicon has to be removed. Is the idea clear, bhai? So sulfur, phosphorus, silicon, all three are non-metal. Non-metal oxide are acidic. Non-metal oxide are acidic, so I will add a basic flux, which is again limestone. Metal oxide, it will become CaO, and CaO removes sulfur, silicon, phosphorus as slag. So yeah, this is how you get the wrought iron. So pig iron comes from the blast furnace, which contain 4% carbon, SP sir mange. After that, heat in the presence of iron scrap and coke, hot blast, you will get cast iron, hard extremely and brittle, 3% carbon. Then heat in the presence of hematite, that carbon will react with hematite, you will get iron. Taravata, sulfur, phosphorus, silicon, who are non-metal oxide, they non-metal, they will become oxide and treat with CaO to form slag and remove them. Enjoy your life. Then aluminium metallurgy, bhai. In aluminium metallurgy, they will ask you, number one, what's the role of cryolite? The role of cryolite or CaF2 fluorspar is to lower the melting point and to bring conductivity. It lowers melting point and brings conductivity. Very common question, everyone would have read hundreds of times. Who is the anode? Anode and cathode both are carbon only. Anode, cathode both are carbon. In Kastner-Kellner cell, to bhai sahab, mercury was the cathode. But here in the Hall-Herold process, everything is carbon. So what happens at anode? Carbon becomes CO or CO2. Carbon becomes CO or CO2. Now here, realize one thing very carefully. Carbon does not become CO2 directly. Listen to what I am saying. Oh, bhai, hello. Oh, wake up. Carbon does not become CO2 directly. Oxide become oxygen. Then oxygen react with carbon to become CO2. It's a Reynolds step process. Here by the reaction, it is appearing like it's a one-step process. It is not. So if someone asks you, which gas is evolved on reduction, listen carefully, sorry, on oxidation, which gas is evolved on oxidation at anode in the Hall-Herold process? Which gas is liberated? Which gas is liberated? Which gas is evolved? Which gas is liberated or evolved? So here it is not CO2, this is oxygen. The oxygen liberated at anode react with the carbon of anode to produce CO and CO2. So if they ask you which gas is produced at anode at Hall-Herold process, produced to CO and CO2, which gas liberated? O2. Evolved or liberated? O2. Which gas produced CO and CO2 after reaction with carbon? Is the idea clear? The language of NCERT you have to follow. For normal human being walking on the street, liberated and produced are almost same. For us, we are writing NEET examination. They are not same. Liberated oxygen produced CO and CO2. Then for every 1 kg of aluminium, half kg of carbon is burnt away. Clear, bhai? Remaining part easy. Now, before going to this methods, let's carry on some questions now. The reaction Cr2O3 plus aluminium, this reaction thermodynamically feasible, but still does not take place at room temperature. Why? Activation energy le do. Activation energy is not there. How will it start at the room temperature? So you have to provide activation energy. Just because the reaction is spontaneous does not mean it will happen. You have to provide some internal initial motivation, that is called activation energy. Is it true that under certain condition magnesium can reduce alumina and aluminium can reduce MgO? Bilkul. Above 1400, aluminium can reduce MgO. Below 1400 degrees Celsius, magnesium can reduce alumina. Bilkul possible, sir. No problem in that. Then we have copper metallurgy. Check, bhai. In copper metallurgy, what happens? Starts from here. In copper metallurgy, in actual process, the ore is heated in the reverberatory furnace. A furnace name you have to remember, reverberatory furnace, where you are also mixing silica. Why you are mixing silica? Silica was the garbage in iron metallurgy, and iron is the garbage in this metallurgy. Silica was the garbage in the iron metallurgy, and now see the life, how the full circle complete. In iron metallurgy, iron was the hero, silica was the garbage. In copper metallurgy, iron is the garbage and silica came to remove it. Silica is the flux. In the furnace, iron oxide slag off as iron silicate, and copper is produced in the form of copper matte. What is copper matte? Copper matte is Cu2s and Fes. So firstly, what we do? We heat in the reverberatory furnace. Listen to me very carefully, clarity will come. We heat firstly in the reverberatory furnace. Temperature is not very high. Reverberatory furnace don't maintain high temperature. I'll tell you what the reverberatory furnace is in simple language. I burn. Listen carefully, yaar. Are you listening, yaar? Or am I wasting my energy? Because if I explain this, I want you to listen. Okay. Reverberatory furnace is very simple. You take coal, charcoal or something, some fuel you have taken, and you heat. And you heat it. It is burning now. Where is the coal? Right in front of my face. Here is the coal. And you are the person whom I want to heat. So I will not bring the coal to you. In the reverberatory furnace, I will do like this. Coal is burning here, I will do so that hot air comes to you. This kind of furnace is called reverberatory furnace. The direct heating not happening. The fuel and the ore are not mixing with each other. They are kept separate, and the air is coming, hot air, which is heating you. So are you realizing that the temperature you will get will be lesser if I put a burning coal on you versus I just blow the air from the coal, getting like this? So this will be less heat. In that less heat, who will react? More reactive person or less reactive person? I'm giving very less heat. Both cannot react. So more reactive person react or less reactive person react? Sir, more reactive will react. Who is more reactive? Copper happa or iron? Copper or iron? Who is more reactive? Who is more reactive? Iron. So iron sulfide has little more tendency to become oxide. So in this furnace, firstly we try to remove as much as possible FeS in the form of FeO. FeO react with silica, you will get FeSiO3, and Cu2s remain there. Cu2s mostly remain there, and that Cu2s and leftover FeS mixture is called copper matte. Now I will send this into another heater where I will heat properly. There the leftover FeS, are you getting? Too much garbage was there. Too much garbage was there. So firstly I removed FeS little bit, and now I'm removing as much as possible FeS in the second furnace, which is silica lined converter. In the silica lined converter, some silica also added, and hot air blast is blown to convert the remaining FeS, FeO, Cu2s, Cu2O to metallic copper. So FeS become FeO. FeO react with silica. Silica is the flux, FeO is the gangue, garbage, flux forming slag. Slag gone. Cu2s form Cu2O. Cu2O react with the leftover Cu2s to form copper and SO2. This is called self-reduction. No external reducing agent required. Cu2O itself of the reaction number 1 will react with the Cu2s and you will get Cu. The copper you get here get pimples, blister-like structure, and that blister is due to, this blister-like structure is due to the SO2 gas which is going out. So SO2 gas causes the blister. Understood the story, bhai? So firstly, reverberatory furnace, slight heating, so that FeS can become FeO and can be removed as a slag. Leftover FeS and Cu2s copper matte given to the silica lined converter. Heat, self-reduction, gone. Then zinc oxide, zincite and coke are mixed. Remember, copper self-reduction, zinc iron, carbon reduction, sul, electrolytic reduction. Now we are doing zincite, that is zinc. Zincite and coke, they are mixed. Chinna bricks are made. Chinna bricks, small bricks are called briquettes. Briquettes are mixed, briquettes. So briquettes of coke, chinna bricks of coke and zinc oxide, they are sent to the furnace. On heating, this ZnO becomes Zn because carbonate is a reducing agent. He removes oxygen. CO gone, zinc you will get. Now remember D and F block. Zinc, cadmium, mercury and manganese have chadda packing. Zinc, cadmium, mercury. Zn, cadmium, mercury. Zinc, cadmium, mercury and manganese, they have chadda packing. है ना? And out of that, zinc, cadmium, mercury, they have no unpaired electron. So zinc have chadda packing and no unpaired electron. Packing also chadda, so melting easy. Unpaired electron le do, so attraction will be less. So attraction less, boiling also easy. So melting also easy, boiling also easy. So zinc evaporates. At this temperature, zinc start evaporating. Now you have to call the zinc back. Zinc, bhaiya, come back. For that we do rapid chilling. Immediately we have to chill, otherwise zinc will go. Understood the idea, bhai sahab? So we became very smart. We realized that acha, zinc have this tendency, it can evaporate also easily. Because of chadda packing, melts easily. Because of no unpaired electron, he can also evaporate easily. So now I am going to purify zinc by this method only. Impurity will be left behind and zinc will evaporate. This process is called distillation. So what I came to know about zinc, I am going to use it now. I think extraction of zinc clear bhaiya, simple one. Now which are the purification techniques? Distillation, we use it for low boiling metals like zinc, cadmium, mercury. So zinc and mercury are the example given. Then liquation we are using for low melting metal, the metals who melt very easily like tin. Then electrolytic reduction we use for copper and zinc majorly. They will ask you who is the anode mud in the case of copper. Anode mud in the case of copper are Happa, because less reactive than copper, Happa, and P block metals. P block metal or metalloid. P block metals or metalloid. P block metals are not very good metals. So P block metals and metalloid as well as Happa, they will be anode mud. So check. Antimony, selenium, tellurium, P block. Then silver, gold, platinum, Pa, Appa. Viliginda. Then we have zone refining. In zone refining, what is the basic requirement? Impurity should be soluble in the molten state. Impurity must be soluble in the molten state. What is the requirement for zone refining? Impurity must be soluble in molten state. So let's say I am the heater. I am heating this area. Here the impurity says I want to be soluble in the molten state. I go from here. I said, bhaiya aisa hai. I am making the molten state here. Impurity said, ki, sir, I want to be in the molten state. I will say, okay, beta, now come here. Because here is the molten state. That area is cool now. It will become solid. So impurity came with me. Then I made this area as the molten state. Impurity came with me. Then I made this area as the molten state. Impurity came with me. Slowly, all impurity will come and sit in the corner. I will cut the corner. I will get the ultra pure, very, very pure semiconductors like germanium, silicon, boron, gallium, and indium. So silicon, germanium, so they are semiconductors. Remaining people, non-metal also I can purify by this same method, zone refining. What's the main condition here? Impurity must be more soluble in the melt. In the molten form, the impurity should be more soluble, then you can use it. Then we have Mons process, Van Arkel method. Both are same. CO will come, take pure nickel away. On heating this, you will get nickel. Iodine will come, it will react with the zirconium, leaving the impurity behind. Later on, ZrI4 you will heat, you will get zirconium. Name of the method, IJKL, Mons nickel, Mn, Mons nickel. Mons process, nickel, Mn. And Van Arkel method is for zirconium, titanium. These are the last few alphabet of English language. IJKLMNOP, QRST, U, V, Van Arkel, WXYZ, zirconium. So zirconium, titanium, which method? Van Arkel. So yeah, this is about the main part about metallurgy. Going ahead. Now, chemistry everyday life, drugs are there. So just a quick revision of all the drugs. It is majorly your self-study, but just once you will listen, it will become easier for you to remember. So number one, antacids. Previously, they were using something else like sodium bicarbonate and all they were using. That was creating problem because it makes the medium of the stomach alkaline, which triggers more formation of acid. Then they use metal hydroxide, which will be okay because they will not make the medium basic, but at least they are not curing the actual reason, the cause. They are curing the symptom. Symptom is acidity. Then people later on realized that this nalayak histamine is the cause. Histamine bind to the receptor in the stomach. Histamine bind to the receptor in the stomach and produce acid. So antihistamine antacids were made, ranitidine and cimetidine. You might have heard about Zantac. Nowadays you get Rantac. Rantac means ranitidine only. So Zantac and cimetidine, ranitidine and cimetidine are the antacids which are antihistamine. Then the same histamine nalayak, he bind to the nose receptor, and right now you can see my nose is red as compared to the remaining face. Why? Because of histamine synthesis. This is common cold kind of a thing. Understood the idea, bhai sahab? So this is because of histamine synthesis. So for this, bilkul allergy. For this, what we do? We use anti-allergen. Anti-allergen are Dimetapp and Seldane. These are also antihistamines, but this antihistamine cannot cure acidity because they bind to different receptor and antacid bind to different receptor. Different receptors are there. Then tranquilizers. Remember, Ipro, Niazid, Mipro, Balmate, Nardil, Equanil, छोड़ दिया POC side. Ipro, Niazid, Mipro, Balm8, Nardil, Equanil, छोड़ दिया POC side. Out of that, Equanil is equal on both the side. As well as Equanil is used for treating two things: anxiety also, that is hypertension, as well as depression. So antidepressant as well as for hypertension also we can use the same thing, same drug, that is Equanil. So equal on both the side. तो Ipro, Niazid, Mipro, Balmate, Nardil, Equanil छोड़ दिया POC. Barbiturate acid derivative are used as sleeping pills. You might have heard about sleeping pill or hypnotic drugs. We use barbiturate acid derivative. How to remember them? Remember Al. All the Al are barbiturate acid derivative. Clear, bhai sahab? You can check veronal, amital, nambutal, luminal, seconal. All the Al are barbiturate acid derivative. If anyone is in the depression, give him vanilla ice cream. So Valium. And serotonin is a feel-good hormone. You might have heard about this name. Going ahead. Then non-addictive analgesics, paracetamol, aspirin, these are the drugs, painkiller. Analgesics are painkiller. But buy one, get one offer comes. If you buy a painkiller like paracetamol or aspirin, you will get free antipyretic. Antipyretic means fever curing. So pain undi, paracetamol. Fever undi, then also paracetamol. Aspirin has one more advantage. If you take a car of your friend, BMW, father has newly given to your friend, you took it on a drive, you collided that with a truck, and one truck collided you from the back. So the BMW C320D sedan became a hatchback because both sides it got stuck. Now you have to go home and tell your friend, ki bro, now your car is no more BMW, it has become Tata Nano. So to give this good news, make sure you take aspirin along with you. So when you take aspirin and give it dissolved in water, he will drink the aspirin. After that, you tell this news. So he will do like this, oh, gone. How can I live now? So tell him, stop doing drama. I just now gave you aspirin, and aspirin can prevent heart attack. So remove the hand. I'm sorry. When I will become a doctor, after selling 2-3 kidney, I will give you back the. Hey, don't sell kidney. Just a joke, huh? And don't take someone else's BMW also, and don't give aspirin randomly. Everything is a joke, please. Some people become very serious also here. Then they say, my teacher only said to sell the kidney. Bhaiya, this much to moral you should be having. In one lecture, I will sell from whole year. I am saying study properly, that you will not do. From whole year, I am saying complete the work in time, that you will not do. But then, sir, kidney the you said, na, you said. From jail they will call. From jail the call will come. Pansar, yeah, I did what you said. So what happened? You read properly, studied properly. What happened? Nice, sir, I sold the kidney, sir. It is not as expensive as I thought it is, sir. Only one iPhone came, sir. Bye. This is only for study purposes. We are doing the middle entertainment. It is not the reality. Huh? Yeah, please. Be a good human being. Hai na? Don't sell someone else's kidney. Your kidney or your business. That is your wish. You want to sell 1, you want to sell 2. If you have 3, you can sell 3. I have no problem. Clear? Your life, your rules. Then, bhai sahab, narcotic analgesics. People become addictive towards this analgesics, narcotics. In narcotic analgesics, bhai sahab, dekho. There are some people, like Achilles sir, who become addictive towards heroin, like Samantha. Possible? Bilkul possible. Clear, bhai? Ab problem is heroin, not heroin like heroin, nahin. Heroin, like Samantha type of heroin. Heroin, they need AC on both the side. है ना भैया? Without AC, तो they cannot live. So two side AC will be there. Two side AC will be there. Heroin. Codeine, OC, codeine, OCH3. Codeine, COOCH3. And morphine, both side OH only. Basic skeleton is same. Like in botany, you have read same to same structure here also. Just remember the side chains properly. Answers will come in the exam. Going ahead, Bhaiya, after the World War II, syphilis was a major problem. It's a sexually transmitted disease caused by spirochete. Salvarsan was the first effective drug which was developed against syphilis. But the problem was arsenic is very, very poisonous for human beings also. So the scientist Paul Ehrlich, after winning Nobel Prize also, one side the people are like you who will not open the NCERT again after clearing the NEET examination. Other side we have Paul Ehrlich, who won the Nobel Prize for this drug only. Still he worked for another 20-30 years to make it better. He realized that arsenic is causing problems in the human being. He started searching for some better ways and he came across azodine. He realized that azodine N double bond N is just like AS double bond AS of Salvarsan, which was acting against syphilis. He tried to replace arsenic with nitrogen and he was successful in 1932 to make the first effective antibiotic, Prontosil. Prontosil was having this N double bond N here. Later on, he realized that in the body, Prontosil is degraded to form this blue color compound. This is the actual active compound. And these kind of compounds were called as sulfa class of drugs. And then the discovery happened of sulfa class of drugs. So firstly, Salvarsan was there, arsenic was there. Paul did not like it. Paul developed something new. He developed Prontosil. Later on came to know that actually Prontosil is not the hero. Actual hero was sulfanilamide. So he thought, let's make a new class of drugs, sulfa class of drugs. And that is how sulfa class of drugs were discovered in around 40 years period. 40 to 50 years it took. Then, who are bactericidal? Penicillin, aminoglycoside and ofloxacins are bactericidal. They kill bacteria. Bacteriostatic. If you forget the name of bacteriostatic, remember etc. 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 are bacteriostatic. etc. Erythromycin, tetracycline, chloramphenicol, etc. Done by sir. Then broad spectrum can kill gram positive also, gram negative also. Narrow spectrum can kill either gram positive or gram negative. Clear by sir? Limited spectrum kills only a certain strain. So bhaiya here penicillin G is narrow spectrum or broad spectrum. So penicillin G is narrow. Penicillin G is narrow spectrum. But ampicillin, amoxicillin, these are synthetic modification of penicillin. They are broad spectrum. So ampicillin, amoxicillin are broad spectrum. But penicillin G naturally is a narrow spectrum. Going ahead, in the year of 1947, a very important drug was discovered that was isolated. That was chloramphenicol. Chloramphenicol is perfect example of the Instagram reel, which is running right now. Remember, head, shoulder, knee, and toe. Same to same. Everything can be cured by chloramphenicol. Everything means I'm just exaggerating it, but most of the things can be cured by chloramphenicol. Gastrointestinal tract, it can be absorbed. So you can take it like a tablet. From your digestive system, it can be absorbed. No need to give injection of this. Take a tablet of chloramphenicol, typhoid, gone. Dysentery, gone. Fever undi, gone. Urinary infection is there, gone. Brain expanding, meningitis there, gone. Pneumonia, gone. Are pneumonia kaha? One side pneumonia, one side brain expanding, one side urine infection. So knee, head, shoulder, knee and toe, everything will be cured by chloramphenicol. Next, ofloxacin, vancomycin, these are also broad spectrum. So remember, bhaiya, vancomycin and ofloxacin, these are also broad spectrum. Then, who is the limited spectrum example? Certain strains of cancer can be cured by dicydazarine. Dicydazarine. So bhaiya, how I remembered it? Cancer cell die. Cancer cell die. So you can also remember like that only. Chloramphenicol has chlorum and phenicol. That means chlorum and all. Chloro and all. Chloro and alcohol. So 2 chloro, 2 alcohol. Then these two nalayak are there in Dettol. Dettol contain chloroxylenol and terpineol. Both of their IUPAC name you need to revise. They are there in NCERT exemplar. Question is there in NCERT exemplar. Make sure that you revise it. Dettol contain chloroxylenol, terpineol. Biethanol you will find in the soap. Then who are the anti-fertility drugs? Norethindrone and ethanyl estradiol. These are anti-fertility drugs. Clear, bhai sahab? Going ahead. Aspartame sweetener is there, made up of aspartic acid, phenylalanine, methyl ester part. Saccharin 550 times sweeter. Sucralose is a trichloro derivative of sucrose. Trichloro derivative of sucrose. Aspartame is not stable at cooking temperature. It can be only added in the diet coke. Cold drinks, you can add aspartame. High temperature, don't add, it will degrade. Elitame, Manish Pandey sir, extremely, unnecessarily extremely sweet. Sir, what's the meaning of unnecessarily extremely sweet? It means so much sweet that you cannot control. Uncontrolled sweetness. So this is our Manish Pandey sir. Understood the idea? Clear, bhaiya? And in the boys campus, same thing is Mohit Pandey sir. This track 2 physics people, they are bucket of sugar. So much sweetness is there, but by sweetness only physics they are teaching. One side I am there. Nahin? Bitter God, sir, bitter God. Hanji, balance required in life. In life, balance required. Understood the idea? Balance not there, problem will come here. Clear? So physics track to give you diabetes, and I cure diabetes. Understood the idea? Going ahead. Now, types of the soap, this thing can revise easily. Twarga, one quick brief I'm going to give you so that it becomes easy. Soap that float in water, beat the tiny air bubble, bubbles will make the soap lighter, it will float in the water. Transparent soap, ethanol you will take in place of water as a solvent, you will get transparent soap. Medicated soap, biothiol you can take. Shaving soap contain glycerol, which makes the soap wet for longer period of time. Shaving soap, glycerol. And rosin. Rosin produce more leather. More leather produced by rosin. So rosinate used in the laundry soap also. This is the respect that males get in the society. The same thing you add in the laundry soap, same thing you add in the shaving cream. We are happy with both, no problem. Laundry soap contain sodium rosinate. Soap chips are made, soap chips are cream stone ice cream. They spread the liquid soap on a cool drum. They take a scraper, they scrape the soap off. Soap chips comes. Then soap granule, dried miniature soap bubble, soap powder, scoring soap. Scoring soap means scrub. Take soap, throw in the sand, bring the soap back. That soap, which is having sand particle, can be used as a scrub to remove the dead skin cells. So here, finely divided sand we can use. Now, talking about anionic detergent, sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium dodecyl benzene sulfonate. That means sodium lauryl sulfate in the toothpaste also you can find it. Every day when you brush the teeth from today, see that in your Pepsodent or Colgate or something like that, are you having sodium lauryl sulfate or not? Same thing you will find in washing the clothes also. Then SDS. SDS you can remember in short, you will be able to remember it. Cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. It is cationic detergent. It is very advancedly used nowadays for hair conditioner. It also has germicidal property. Germicidal property. That's why it is very expensive as compared to normal shampoo. And non-ionic detergent used for liquid dishwashing. Branched or unbranched, which kind of chain you should have for detergent? More branching will be there. Chala steric hindrance will be there. So chala steric hindrance will be there. The reaction will not be possible. So these cannot be biodegraded. So unbranched chain can be biodegraded more easily. Hence pollution can be prevented. Next, talking about pollution, environmental chemistry. Beginning part you might be knowing by this time. I can just revise quickly. You'll be able to understand. Yes, sir, we are expert now. SO2, NO2. Plant also affected, animal also affected. Red color haze in the traffic by NO2 is there. Both cause the acid rain. Then hydrocarbon come from the exhaust of the automobile. We will use it here. Means we will not use it here. It will create the problems here. Understood the idea, bhai? Then comes later on some particulate matter, dust, fumes, mist, all those things you are very well aware of. Directly coming to the main point here, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, you know, why greenhouse gas 0.03%. If you have more than that, greenhouse effect will be caused or global warming will be caused by carbon dioxide. And carbon monoxide by carboxy hemoglobin drama. Every year, every time they do the same thing in every chapter. Carboxy hemoglobin. Smog. Classical smog occur in the cool and humid climate. It's a mixture of smoke, fog, and sulfur dioxide. This SO2 nalayak, this is the person responsible for reducing agent in nature. If you remember in the last class we have done moist SO2 reducing agent. Then photochemical smog occur in the warm, dry, and sunny climate. How it is made? It is made by primary precursor, that is hydrocarbon and nitrogen oxide. So someone asks you which is the primary pollutant, you will say hydrocarbon is there and NO2. These are the primary pollutant in this topic in photochemical smog. NO2 and hydrocarbon are the primary pollutant in the photochemical smog. Then what happens? This NO2 release O. This O forms ozone. Now, because of this NO2 and ozone, they are oxidizing agent. Because of these two, this smog become oxidizing smog. This nalayak react with hydrocarbon, primary pollutant, to give you 3 secondary pollutant, which we have remembered in the main revision also, if you remember. Formaldehyde, acrolein, PAN. Formaldehyde, acrolein, PAN. These three are secondary pollutant. What's the effect of photochemical smog? You are expert in this. You know what you have to write. कोई eye problem कहते हैं ना, lungs problem कहते हैं ना, plant some problem, you can say photochemical smog problems are same like any other problem. Going ahead, stratospheric pollution, that is ozone depletion, is caused by, in Antarctica, it is caused by chlorine nitrate. In the winter season, when sunlight is not there, in winter na Antarctica don't have sunlight. It's not like morning and night. 5-6 months away, sunlight not there. So there, in that time, ClO, get converted to HOCl, and some ClO, remain as it is over the cloud. They wait for the sunlight to come. When the sunlight comes, this HOCl and ClO, it will break. It will break to form what? It breaks to form Cl radical. This is responsible for the depletion of ozone layer. So who is the person responsible in Antarctica? ClO, is responsible in Antarctica. Bhai, ClO, responsible. He makes HOCl on a special class of clouds. Those clouds are called winter stratospheric clouds. Winter stratospheric clouds. Those clouds in the presence of sunlight breaks, form Cl radical, and this nalayak Cl radical depletes the ozone layer. Hopefully. Then this data you should remember, bhai. How much should be DO? Dissolved oxygen. It should be more than equal to 6 ppm. Then the water will be good for the ship to fish. Good for the fish to grow. Dissolved oxygen more than equal to 6 ppm. Understood the idea? Then biochemical oxygen demand, BOD. Remember, BOD is the opposite of DO. So BOD, DO more, oxygen more, dissolved oxygen more, good. BOD more, bad. So how much BOD is very bad? More than 17 ppm, bhai sab, gone, game over. More than 17 ppm, game over. And which is good value? Less than 5 ppm. So BOD must be equal to less than 5 ppm. Understood? How much is the maximum DO? I did not mention here, but maximum DO can reach up to 10 ppm. Roughly up to 10 ppm, you can have maximum dissolved oxygen. So, bhaiya, best quantity of oxygen is 6 to 10 ppm, and minimum quantity of BOD that you should have, maximum quantity of BOD that you should have is up to 5 ppm. Above 5, contamination. Above 17 ppm, highly polluted. Going ahead. Now we are doing threshold limit values. How much is the limit value you need to call it pollution? So fluoride up to 1 ppm, very good for the teeth. Hydroxapatite is used, is the part of tooth enamel. On brushing your teeth with fluoride toothpaste, you will get fluorapatite coating, which is whiter and stronger. Up to 1 ppm, no problem. 2 ppm onwards, you will get brown mottling of teeth, and over 10 ppm, teeth and bones both are gone. So when both teeth and bones both are gone, at what ppm? 10 ppm for fluoride. Lead is PB. Remember, PB, PPB. PB, PPB, 50 ppb. Sulfate, 500 ppm. nitrate 50 ppm, blue baby syndrome. So these are the threshold limit value. Above these values, we call it is contamination to the highest level possible. It is not advisable to consume such water. So here lead 50 ppb, very less lead will be dangerous. Sulfate 500 ppm causes laxative effect above that. Nitrate 50 ppm. These values are easy to remember, bhai. Now these values are easy to remember, yaar. So many times you have read. Are you realizing? Even chinna chapters also you have read many times now. So why less confidence? Dekhe, here Fe and aluminium, they have same value, 0.2 ppm. Remember zinc, cadmium, mercury? Zinc, cadmium, mercury, remember? Zinc, cadmium, mercury, remember? Zinc, cadmium, mercury, what are they? What are zinc, cadmium, mercury, bhai? How are the zinc, cadmium and mercury famous? Why we say zinc, cadmium, mercury together? Why are they famous? What are they? They are something, bilkul, they are non-transition. They are non-transition metals, and also they have chadda packing. One more person have chadda packing. Can you tell me who is that person who has chadda packing apart from zinc, cadmium, mercury? Apart from zinc, cadmium, mercury, who has bad packing? Manganese. 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 Say bhai. So can you remember this easily? Zinc, manganese, cadmium now. So check the zinc. Zinc is 5 ppm. Manganese 0.05. Cadmium 0.005 should be there. Check. Check, bhai, check how easily remember, yaar. Now to final time, so you are expert now. What can they ask you? Herbicide they will ask. You will say, sir, arsenite and chlorate came in the last exam. Basic things, so you will revise which are coming in the examination. Apart from that, these tables are very easy now. Shall we carry on? Now, talking about hydride, bhaiya dekhe here, focus. In the hydride, can you see this line here? This is about interstitial hydride. This is interstitial or non-stoichiometric hydride. See carefully. They are almost always non-stoichiometric, being deficient in hydrogen. Hydrogen deficient. They are deficient in hydrogen. Came in the exam also. They are deficient in hydrogen. Electron deficient le do, I am saying. I am not saying electron deficient. That is B2H6. That is covalent hydride, B2H6. I am saying hydrogen deficient are interstitial hydrides. For this only I picked up this paragraph. Remaining two easy things are there, you will be able to get. Now, PH5. PH5. Will it exist? Answer is no. PH5 does not exist. In copper sulfate dot 5H2O, how many H2 are hydrogen bonded and how many are coordinated? So copper is Ren 2 plus. So 2 plus copper means how many water will become a ligand? So 4 water. Why? Plus 2, coordination number 4. So 4 water will become the ligand. Sulfate will come out, dot H2O. So 4 are coordinated. 1 is hydrogen bonded. NCERT solved example. Going ahead. Coming to the main point, bhai. Hardness of water, how to remove? A quick revision. Why there is hardness of water? Hardness of water is because of calcium and magnesium ion. They are chloride, sulfate and bicarbonate. Sir, what calcium, magnesium do? Calcium and magnesium, they form precipitate with soap. You add soap to wash your hands. That soap is RCOO minus. This RCOO minus forms a precipitate with calcium, magnesium called as scum. Scum. So what's the problem with chloride, sulfate and bicarbonate? Directly, so I have no problem. But these three nalayak, chloride, sulfate and bicarbonate, they are making calcium, magnesium stay in water as a soluble salt. Because of bicarbonate, chloride and sulfate only, they remain in the solution. Otherwise, they would have precipitated. So chloride, sulfate and bicarbonate of calcium, magnesium are present in the water. We call it hard water. And such hard water cannot produce leather with soap. With detergent it can produce, but with soap it cannot produce leather. So how to remove it? How to remove the hardness? Temporary hardness is because of bicarbonate. Temporary hardness is because of bicarbonate. Because bicarbonate you heat, it becomes carbonate, and carbonate of calcium and magnesium can be precipitated. Similarly, in the Clark's method, I take calcium hydroxide. C for Clark, C for calcium hydroxide. Hydroxide takes the H plus away. When you take the H plus of bicarbonate, you will get carbonate. And again, calcium and magnesium carbonate can be precipitated. But keep one thing in mind. If you have read the S block carefully when I taught you, you will remember this very well, that Mg2 plus as well as Be2 plus are truly, deeply, madly in love with water. So when magnesium carbonate precipitate, when magnesium carbonate try to precipitate, water start giving some signals to magnesium कि यार magnesium you are going with carbonate क्या, I am here यार, please. So magnesium kicks the carbonate away. Yeah, I'll go to my true love, and his true love is OH. So magnesium, the same thing happened here also, if you remember. Arey, S class people, this must you should remember, yaar. The same thing happened here also. The chloride, hydrated chloride cannot become anhydrous. They will be hydrolyzed because magnesium, beryllium 2 plus, they are truly, deeply, madly in love with water. These two things are there in the NCERT. Keep this in mind. They love water. So if there is a possibility of going with water as hydroxide, magnesium and beryllium will do that. They will not hesitate even a single bit. Understood the idea, bhaiya? Should you add chala amount of calcium hydroxide or kuncham? Bhaiya, kuncham. Why? Oh, bhai, hello. Calcium is the problem. Calcium is the problem. Calcium is causing the hardness. So if you add chala amount of calcium, then rather than removing hardness, he will give more hardness. Yeah. Calcium magnesium problem na. They form the precipitate with soap. So now you are adding calcium hydroxide. So add calculated amount. Don't add chala amount. Calculate. How to remove permanent hardness? Number one, take sodium carbonate. Permanent hardness because of chloride and sulfate. Take sodium carbonate. Carbonate will be taken by calcium, magnesium. They will become precipitate. Their carbonates are precipitated. Then Calgon method. Calgon is Na6P6O18. Na6P6O18 react with calcium, magnesium and hug them. So calcium, they will hug. Like this is calcium, I will hug calcium. Calcium don't go here. Soap will come. Calcium will say, I want to go and make a precipitate. I will hold calcium. I will say, nahi yaar, calcium, don't do yaar. Please don't leave me yaar. Calcium, please yaar. Ab yaar, calcium is there in the solution. Calcium is there in the solution with me. But he is not free. I am not letting him go anywhere. So bhaiya, see here, this line comes here. The complex anion keeps the magnesium and calcium ion in the solution. This calcium magnesium got trapped here. Now he is there in the solution, but he cannot be free. He cannot react with the soap. Chamka. Calgon method. In Calgon method, we don't remove calcium magnesium. We just hug them. Sometimes people just need love, yaar. Nahin? And they will become a good human being automatically. Going ahead, ion exchange method. In ion exchange method, zeolite, NaZ, exchange sodium and calcium or magnesium. M2 plus exchanged by sodium. Sodium ion gone in the solution. What you are left with? Mz2. That's it. So for example, my hand is NaZ. My hand is NaZ. I dip my hand in hard water. I left sodium there and I took calcium. So whatever was causing the hardness, calcium, is now in my hand. Over. So if you want to use this hand again to remove more calcium, what you will do? I will take sodium chloride solution, NaCl solution. Now I will dip my hand there. So now the calcium of my hand I will leave there and sodium I will take back. Now my hand is again NaZ. I can dip in the hard water, take calcium, dip in NaCl, remove calcium. Dip in hard water, take calcium, dip in other solution, remove calcium. So slowly, all the calcium from one bucket I will be able to put in the other bucket. This process is called regeneration. The exhausted, the used up Z, which is now not NaZ, which is Mz2, this can be regenerated by treating with sodium chloride and sodium will come back. Now resin method, directly I am coming to acid base one. That is cation anion exchange method. So here you have RH, cation exchanger. Here you have RNH3OH, an ion exchanger. So here calcium 2 plus Mg2 plus will stick here and H plus will come in the solution. making the medium acidic. If someone asks you cationic exchanger in the resin makes the medium, answer will be acidic, because H plus is the cation you are exchanging. To settle M2 plus, you are exchanging H plus. Then this goes to the new container. There the chloride, sulfate, bicarbonate, these people get stuck on the surface. In place of that, OH minus comes in the solution. So bhaiya, this OH minus and H plus will balance out each other. So you can see iron gone. The iron who came, they neutralized each other. So this is going to give you deionized water. No iron in the water whatsoever. Cationic exchanger, anionic exchanger. You can see the line here. In this cationic exchange process, H plus exchanges sodium, calcium, magnesium, and other cations present in the water. This process results in the proton release and thus make the water acidic. In the anion exchange process, what will happen? In the anion exchange process, OH minus exchanges for anion like this present in the water. OH minus ion thus liberated, neutralize the H plus ion. Then sir, how to regenerate them? What's the meaning of regenerate? I am RH, my H plus gone. I'm RNH3OH, my OH minus gone. You want to regenerate me? Give my H plus back. Sir, how can you give the H plus back? By adding to acid. By adding to acid, I will get my H plus. I will be happy to work again. If I am RNH3OH, if I am RNH3OH and my OH minus gone, I became this, then add some base. I will get my OH minus back. I can be regenerated. I can be used again. Any problem, samasya, pida should not be here. Yeah. Problem shouldn't be here. Going ahead. Now, volume strength question, 10 volume they have given us, 10 volume. We have to find the strength. 10 volume given, we have to find the strength. So very simple. Volume strength by 11.2 is molarity. Molarity is mole per liter. Molarity is mole per liter. Multiply with the molar mass, you will get gram per liter. Clear, bhai? And if you multiply with 3.4, you will get percent weight by volume. Using these three formulas, your life will be completely set. No problem will come in this topic. Like example was 10 volume, na? So 10 volume means molarity will be 10 upon 11.2 molar. They are asking strength. They are asking gram per liter. Let's say they are asking gram per liter. So how to find gram per liter? This can be converted to gram per liter by multiplying with 34. That means 10 into 34 by 11.2. So this will go roughly 3 times. Answer will come 30 gram per liter. Check, bhai. Check. 30 gram per liter. Came answer. So what about the percent H2O2? That also you can do. Percent H2O2 you can get by multiplying with 3.4. So when you multiply with 3.4, it will automatically come 3%. So life is very simple. If you know this three formula for the volume strength, bhai sahab, more than this, no headache required at all. So leave this volume strength here and then go ahead. Preparation method of H2O2 you will read. Now I am telling you. Okay na? Oh bhai, okay bhai. Hello. Chaliye. Now I have to tell you the reactions of H2O2. How to remember? Reactions of H2O2. So H2O2 can act like an oxidizing agent also. It can act like a reducing agent also. Let's see how. So H2O2, listen very carefully. It's the kind of question where many of you are losing the marks. If you listen here for 3-4 minutes, all the marks will come back. So bhaiya, oxygen here O is -1, which will be possible to convert it to 0 as well, and which can be converted to -2 also. In -2, there are two options. You can get H2O, you can get OH minus. In both cases, oxygen is -2. Now see very carefully here. If you convert -1 to 0, this is oxidation. And in oxidation, it behaves as a reducing agent. And when you go from -1 to -2, this is reduction. -1 to -2 is reduction. And when you undergo reduction, you are behaving as oxidizing agent. This is the product produced at acid basic both medium. O2 produced at acid basic both medium. But here clear cut, when we can see it is basic medium, and clear cut here we can see this will be produced in acidic. Say bhai, byproduct clear. H2O2 as a reducing agent in acidic basic medium both will give you O2, and H2O2 as oxidizing agent can give you Manchinelu or OH minus. Apart from that, how you will get the remaining answers? Main products, very easy. I hope you remember this, that MnO4 minus will be converted to Mn2 plus in acidic medium. Remember, Mn2 plus is stable in acidic medium. Arey yaar, yes or no? In basic medium, who is stable? In basic medium, who is stable? In basic medium, who is stable? MnO2. Can I say Mn plus 4? Can I say Mn plus 4 in basic medium better and Mn plus 2 in acidic medium better? This much okay yaar? Arey yaar, please yaar, this much okay yaar. This much okay. This much to you can do, hai na? Then halogen, halogens, any type of halogen will become X minus, halide. Any halogen will become halide. Easy. These two you can remember. Great. Now, finally, what you already know. How you tell me? Because several times I have not told you this thing. Ki every Tom, Dick and Harry. Every Tom, Dick and Harry in any condition can oxidize Fe2 plus 2, 3 plus. Easiest to oxidize. This much you can do easily. And in the last class, I taught you PbS become PbSO4 by using ozone or H2O2 in acidic medium. Tell bhai, you remember this reaction? Arey, this I gave in the last class here. Every time I teach ozone, I also teach H2O2 also there here. In revision, I have told also here. In last class also I told. Remember this? So this part, white color, you already know. This white color part you already know. Now you have just remembered halogen, halide. This also you knew, just I reminded you. So main thing is here. Now we are going to use this Brahmastra to get answer of all our problems in life. Life low problem undi. And prati problem low solution undi. So right now, first thing before going to the reaction, in the gaseous state, this dihedral angle is 111 degree approximately, dihedral. In solid state, the bond become constraint. The bond becomes strict and the angle, dihedral angle become almost 90 degree. Keep this in mind for H2O2 dihedral angle, gaseous 111 degree and solid 90 degree. Talking about reaction. Dekhe bhai, which agent, everyone focus on the board here completely please once. Oxidizing action, oxidizing action, oxidizing action. Byproduct Manchinelu or OH minus. Which medium? Sir, medium acidic. Bhaiya, oxidizing agent, acidic medium. Manchinelu is the byproduct. Check bhai. Manchinelu byproduct undi. Apart from that, what happened to Fe2 plus? Sir, Fe2 plus always become Fe3 plus. PbS become PbSO4. PbS become PbSO4 by H2O2 and ozone. Say bhai, yes or no? Yes or no? Easy. Next. Reducing action in acidic medium. अब देखिए भाई, which medium acidic. So tell me, acidic medium MnO4 minus, manganese in acidic medium, manganese in acidic medium plus 2. अरे यार देखो. Sir, what about HOCl? अरे any halogen will become halide, I said na. Arey yaar. Understood? Sir, what about byproduct? Arey yaar, you tell me byproduct. When H2O2 acts like a reducing agent, any medium byproduct O2 yaar. Any medium byproduct will be O2 only. Veliginda. Next. Again, oxidizing agent. What will happen to Fe2 plus? Sir, any medium, any oxidizing agent, Fe2 plus to 3 plus. In basic medium, which is stable? Manganese +4 or +2 for basic medium. Basic medium त्वरगा चूज చేయండి. चूज भाई चूज +4 stable. तो Mn2 plus given in basic medium will become +4 only ना यार. अरे यार, अरे yes or no यार. बाय प्रोडक्ट सर, अरे ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट बेसिक मीडियम तो OH माइनस. सर व्हाट अबाउट हैलोजन? Halogen become halide, does not matter which medium. And MnO4 minus basic medium, MnO4 minus basic medium, MnO4 minus basic medium, basic medium, MnO2. Byproduct, reducing action byproduct always going to be O2 any medium. Always going to be O2 any medium. So are you realizing that all the reactions of H2O2 is this one single slide? डन भाई. डन. अरे डन हो गया भाई. चलिए ग्रेट. सो नाउ लास्ट थिंग यू हैव टू त्वरगा आंसर मी. NiNH3 whole 6 2 plus. This is nickel 2 plus D8. In D8 configuration, first 3 are T2G, next 2 are EG, and there is a strong field ligand SFL. Will the back pairing occur? Answer is for coordination number 6, back pairing not possible. For coordination number 6, back pairing not possible. Bilkul. So now what will happen here? You will get sp3d2. You will get sp3d2. Outer orbital complex, magnetic moment 2 point something will come, and paramagnetic. Easy one. One more example. Tell me COH2O whole 6 3 plus or COC2O4 whole 3 3 minus. Now here cobalt plus 3 is there, that is going to be D6. D6. When I write D6, coordination number 6 are there. T2G and EG. Tell me, these ligands are SFL or WFL? Are they SFL or are they WFL? SFL or WFL? तो सर जनरली तो दे आर WFL. जनरली वाटर एंड ऑक्सलेट आर WFL, बट दे आर SFL फॉर cobalt 3 plus. This is the exceptional case you are asking us, sir. This is cobalt 3 plus. Here the water and Sc2O4 2 minus both will be SFL. For cobalt 3 plus, carbon donor, nitrogen donor, and these two are also SFL. Rest are WFL. So back pairing will happen, sir. When the back pairing happen, this two nitrogen will go. Sorry, these two electrons will go back, and you will have D2sp3 inner orbital complex diamagnetic. Low spin complex, low spin. I hope it is clear. Easy one. If I take NiCO whole 4, NiCl4 2 minus, NiCN whole 4 2 minus, PtCl4 2 minus, what will happen? So sir, number 1, platinum palladium coordination number 4 always going to be square planar. Platinum palladium coordination number 4, platinum palladium coordination number 4 always going to be square planar, that is dsp2. Viliginda? Hello, oh bhai, hello uncle auntie, good morning bhai, good morning walk over. hanji twarga reply chendi. Now NiCO whole 4, nickel 0 oxidation state. Nickel is S2D8. S2D8. Nickel. 0 oxidation state, so no electron gone. This will become D10. Shift the electron of S into D. D10. When you write D10, you will realize कि अरे sir, space ले दूं. अरे sir, space for back pairing ले दूं sir. Now the hybridization will come out to be sp3, which is tetrahedral, and because no unpaired electrons, so diamagnetic. NiCl4 2 minus, तो भैया निकल विल बी +2, निकल +2, तो निकल +2 will be again D8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, D8. So here, because there is a weak field ligand, back pairing not possible. Again, you will get sp3 tetrahedral, but this will be paramagnetic because there are 2 unpaired electrons. And NiCN whole for 2 minus, again I will write D8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, nickel 2 plus D8, nickel 2 plus again D8. So when I write this, Cn minus is a strong field ligand. Is this back pairing allowed here for coordination number 4? Can you pair like this? Yes. Coordination number 6 not allowed. EG pairing, coordination number 6 not allowed, but coordination number 4 allowed. So here what will happen here? Now here, electron pair back. So this is one D empty inside. So DsP2, square planar. Para dia, तो dia. Remember one more thing, NiCN whole for 2 minus. देखो भाई, good topper student, listen carefully. This is colorless. Square planar complexes are generally colorless. भैया write it somewhere in your brain. Square planar complexes are generally colorless. NCERT exercise question. Keep this in mind. Small points are there. Sometimes the people who are not getting the marks throughout the year get one question, it clicks in the exam and the marks will come. You should know about this. NiCN whole for 2 minus, colorless. Colorless. Done. Then, understood, I guess. Delta O, that is proportional to field of ligand. So what's the meaning of field of ligand? Are bhai, carbon donor stronger than nitrogen donor, stronger than halogen donor, sorry, oxygen donor, stronger than halogen and sulfur donor. And this is equal to Hc by lambda absorbed. So stronger ligand, less lambda absorbed, weaker ligand, more lambda absorbed will be there. Easy one. Now coming to the main point. Stability also you can compare in that manner. For stability also, number one, you will check chelation. After chelation, you will check the field of ligand. Sir, I don't know what's the meaning of field of ligand. I don't know what's the meaning of chelation. So what are you doing in the revision without any vision, bhai? 10 days before the NEET examination. So you should know your notes at least, na yaar. Revision, I will give it for you. I will make you remind the things which you will forget. I will not make you remind the words that you should know. Word meaning class to not going on. Finally, for isomerism, structural isomerism are easy. That can be done yourself very easily. I am talking about coordination number 4. If you have NiCl2Br2, 2 minus, देखिए भाई, nickel plus 2 is D8, and D8 nickel 2 plus with weak field ligand will be tetrahedral, and tetrahedral have no GI. So no need to check any GI VI if it is tetrahedral. Say bhai, remember this much. Number one, you will check, beta, optical isomerism only possible when all the 4 ligands are different. Chiral is there. It is not chiral also. So tetrahedral GI le do. Going ahead, if I write PtCl2Br2, so sir, you said just now कि all the platinum complexes coordination number 4 are square planar. I hope you are listening here. They are square planar. So square planar, can it show GI? Yes. What can I write here? Cl2Br2, A2B2, A2B2. So when I write A2B2, I can write AABB. Then after exchanging, I can write ABAB. So there are 2 GI possible, but optical isomerism square planar cannot show. Coordination number 4, check. 2 chlorine, 2 bromine. So 2A, 2B. So AA can come together or AA can come away from each other. Both possibilities are there. There are 2 GI possible. Then, if I have CONH3 whole thrice, NO2 whole thrice. In this scenario, can I write A3B3 here? A3B3, this coordination number 6. Bilkul. Correct, bhai, correct. Correct. A, B, B, B. I can take AB constant in the middle, exchange the remaining 2. I will get AB. So 2GI, we call them FACMR. NEET 2022. This question is the most important. FACMR isomerism, facial and meridional. Will it be showing optical activity for monodentate? How many monodentate? 6 monodentate. If you have AA in the same bracket or you have AB in the same bracket, तो ऑप्टिकल एक्टिविटी ले दू, ऑप्टिकल एक्टिविटी ले दू. तो AA came in the same bracket, AB came in the same bracket, तो ऑप्टिकल एक्टिविटी ले दू only 2GI. Revising slowly भाई. Done. Check. CONH3 whole 4. There will be some people busy noting down from here. They will get frustrated. Sir, why you are going so fast? अबे घोचूराम, why are you noting down? Practice करनी है तो ये noting down करेगा क्या? Noting down to this life will be not enough for you to note down. 2 revision done. 10 days before the NEET examination you will make the notes क्या? So those who are feeling are fast. Arey stop it, close the notebook, listen in the board. Brain will go in the exam, notebook will not go in the exam. So many notebooks you have filled by this time. Now save trees. Save tree. Listen more. Use brain. Brain unda na? Brain unda? Brain unda? To brain lo record cheyandi. This thing you have to take in the room, examination hall, in your brain. So listen to the method. I'm not making you mug up something. These are all same methods I'm using. All are same method. Just sit lightly and listen. 4 ammonia, 2 chlorine. So 4A, 2B. So can I write A, 4A and 2B? So 2B can come in the same bracket. Similarly, 2B can come in different bracket also, na yaar. If 2B can come in the same bracket, they can come in the different bracket also. So I will exchange them. So how many GI I got? 2 GI. AA unda, so optical activity le do. If AA there or AB there, so optical activity le do. Clear bhai? Now full and final. Bidentate. So if you have 2 bidentate, 2 monodentate, directly you can write cis and trans, cis optically active, trans optically inactive. So tell me, cis COEN whole twice Cl2, is this optically active or inactive? Chapandi, is this optically active or inactive? So bilkul sir, this is optically active. Why sir? Because sir, you said to remember it, cis and trans, there are 2 GI and cis optically active. So total stereoisomers, how many coming? Total stereo coming 3. Then 3 bidentate ligand, I will give you 2 category. For 3 bidentate ligands, there are 2 categories. Focus on the category, bhai. Category number 1, COGLY whole thrice. This is unsymmetrical ligand. Unsymmetrical. And next is COEN whole thrice 3+. Here they can also give you COOX whole thrice 3-. Bhaiya dekho, topper material, stay for 2-3 minutes more if you want to become topper. Clear bhai? Idli is going to make you fat, not topper. So be very, very carefully listening what I'm telling right now in the class. So COEN whole thrice or OX whole thrice, I can write as AA whole thrice. AA whole thrice. So it will come A. There is no other possibility. There is no GI. But when you have 3 bidentate ligand, then all forms are optically active. Sir, here can I apply this logic? Ki A there, then optically inactive. Bhaiya, this bakwas you will only do for 6 monodentate ligand. You will not do it for bidentate. For bidentate, this chart you have to remember, bhai. So 3 bidentate ligand, all forms are optically active. GI not there, but this bhai sahab will be optically active. So how many stereoisomers? 2 stereoisomers. So which 2? This and his non-superimposable mirror image. This and his non-superimposable mirror image. So when you have symmetrical bidentate ligand, unsymmetrical represented as AB. Unsymmetrical represented as AB. So COGLY whole thrice means AB whole thrice. AB whole thrice is like A3 B3 na yaar. AB whole thrice is like A3 B3, and A3 B3 to bhai sahab we have remembered now. A3 B3 is Pachmer. So how many GI will be there? So there are going to be two geometrical isomerism and both optically active. So total stereo will be 4. Check. Total stereo will be 4. Done. Revision hai bhai, revision. Revision will happen like revision, and that too 10 days before the NEET examination. So A for apple, B for ball nahi. You want to become doctor, you have to read like a doctor. Last. After that, I think this will close also. If you have COEN, Cl2, Br2, what will happen? Focus everyone once, just once it is required. So this is AA, Cl2, Br2. To understand what will happen here, focus everyone here. Ethylene diamine will always come at cis. Then remaining two position, I can take this trans position. Now listen to me very carefully. In this trans position, Cl can come. In this trans position, Br can come. And in this trans position, Cl and Br can come. Three possibility. 2 Cl can come, 2 Br can come, 2 Cl and Br can come. So how many GI? 3. And this one will be unsymmetrical because Cl up and Br down, how can you get a plane of symmetry? So this is unsymmetrical. So here you will have optically active. So total 4 stereo. That's it. That's it. Done, bhaiya. In the transposition, Cl, Br, Cl, Br can come. So when you have one bidentate ligand, this kind of a scenario is there. This is how you have to get the answer. For monodentate, this shortcut will work. For monodentate, this shortcut will work. For bidentate, you need to practice or you need to remember. My advice will be, remember, yaar, kya practice, yaar. Last 10 days, this much time is not there to practice. Clear? Remember it now. Main track was there to practice. Revision was there to practice. This is not the time to practice. Chaliye. Okay then. Okay. Tata. Bye-bye. 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 Make sure that you revise properly. Standard will increase, marks will increase, and you will become doctor very soon. So work hard, ekdam full on threshold. Clear, bhai? Bye-bye.